2018 had a large catalog of movies released. Avengers Infinity War, Venom, Solo, The Meg, Aquaman, Bumblebee, Black Panther, Ant-Man and the Wasp. One of those movies released was Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. Released on June 22nd, this movie was met with much critical indifference. Yet, it still made a lot of money at the box office. I was a fan of the Jurassic Park series for as long as I can remember, and I was relatively looking forward to this movie. I enjoyed the first Jurassic World, and it left me curious as to where the series would go from there. And then I saw it. And it was probably one of the most forgettable experiences I have ever seen in my life in the theater. Sure, there are some aspects of the movie that I like, but the cons definitely outweigh the pros. So before I tear this movie a new one, let's start out with what I like about this movie. I've got to give massive props to the director of this movie, J.A. Bayona. His vision of this movie consists of a gothic atmosphere with horror movie-esque shots, which has never really been seen in a Jurassic Park film before. And not to mention, the effects are really good this time around. In the last Jurassic World, they overused CGI to the point that it made the dinosaurs look all rubbery and cartoonish. But in this movie, the effects were perfectly balanced between practical and digital effects, making the dinosaurs look realistic enough to not completely drag you out of the movie. The attention to detail on the animatronics and the computer models is really good, and the actors actually look like they are interacting with dinosaurs on the set. Not only is this movie cool to look at, but it's also cool to listen to as well. Because of this new gothic tone that the movie's using, the composer of this movie, Michael
Giacchino
decided to take full advantage of it, and as a result, the music feels like it was from one of those classic Universal monster movies like Frankenstein or The Wolfman. My favorite track in particular is probably the world's worst bedtime storyteller.
I like this new generation of music.
This music just oozes with tension, and it's just badass, not to mention. Yes, I know that the operatic section is a bit over the top, but I have a feeling that that is probably the point. But enough with the pros, let's just start with ripping this movie piece by piece. This movie's plot is absolute garbage. It's obvious that the studio only cares about how lucrative this film franchise is, and so they just vomit out this poor excuse for the characters to go back to the island. This movie's plot goes as follows. A volcano on Isla Nublar has suddenly become active, threatening to wipe out the last remaining dinosaurs on Earth. So it's up to Claire and Owen to save the dinosaurs from dying out. Yeah, this plot is absolutely ludicrous. The idea of saving dinosaurs could actually work with some tweaking, but because the only thing that the studio cares about is that sweet, sweet dough, they don't fix anything. Plus, there's a twist in the movie that's just so damn ridiculous. More on that later. But yeah, this plot is just basically a carbon copy of The Lost World, except with a volcano that'll kill everything. Just because the actors know what to look at now doesn't mean that the acting is actually good. In this film, there are two types of actors. The restrained and over the top. Chris Pratt in this movie doesn't actually show any sort of semblance of human emotion, especially when his character is in danger. For example, in this scene, he's running away from a giant cloud of smoke and fire and death that's ready to just engulf him. During the entire time, he just has this straight face. If this was actually happening to him, he'd just at least be like, oh shit, oh god, oh fuck. It's a shame too, because he was actually pretty good in the last movie. He had charisma, and you could tell that he at least gave a shit. In this movie, none of that charisma is ever here. Instead, he just looks like a bumbling idiot that's doing a bad impression of Chris Pratt.
So you're what? Dating an accountant now? Insurance actuary? Your skin looks nice.
But the actors who do actually show emotion aren't any better. Particularly with these two characters. When they're in danger, they just scream. And I mean, scream.
What is this?
The acting is just this cesspool of indifference and acting that would give Nick Cage a run for his money. This is probably one of the worst villains I have ever seen in a big Hollywood blockbuster. He's just this generic billionaire guy that just wants more money. And not only that, but he's also a twist villain. Hooray! Do you know why Jurassic Park was such a good film? Well, one of the reasons is that there's no twist villain, hallelujah! Nedry was a simplistic but good villain. His motivations were believable and easy to digest. He works for John Hammond, but he feels like he's not being paid enough. So he launches a deal with InGen's rival to steal the dinosaur embryos. These motivations are so simplistic that they don't share it in the movie.
Don't get cheap on me, Dodson. That was Hammond's mistake.
This movie, however, just goes like,
hey, let's make this guy the villain, but let's introduce him as a good guy in the first half of the movie, then reveal that he's evil and have him go on this long spiel explaining his evil plan of selling and militarizing dinosaurs on the black market to the dumb audience who bought tickets to this movie. And let's have him try to justify it by saying that the main girl did the same thing when she created the Indominus Rex. Fuck you and buy the toys.
First of all, Claire authorized the creation of the Indominus Rex through completely legal means. She created it with the intent of impressing investors, while also to generate more revenue for the park. And not to mention that she went and looked for her nephews in the park the minute shit hit the fan. While you are selling dinosaurs on the black market illegally, and you let a bunch of your workers and innocent people die when the dinosaurs escape. Second, I'm just gonna let Mahler explain the bullshit about militarization of dinosaurs.
Dinosaurs are knocked out with as much as one fucking bullet as shown in this film. They would be shit in a war. Dinosaurs need to be fed, sheltered, groomed, and rested. They are massive creatures with massive needs. They would be shit in a war. Dinosaurs need to be able to actually tell the difference between civilians and enemies. I guess that feeding them from birth will make it so that they never attack their own team like Blue does. Fuck off, that's stupid. They would be shit in a war. Dinosaurs are weak to gas, wonky terrain, explosives, enemy shrapnel. They're also huge targets. They would be shit in a war. What the hell are they gonna do against a shotgun? Run up to a guy and fucking hope he doesn't fire? They would be shit in a war. Don't try and justify it by referencing the fact that Soviets once used diseased rats. How the fuck is that the same thing, you donkey?
Oh yeah, and did I mention that this twist was in the freaking trailer? Yeah, they just decided, fuck it. And they revealed the twist in the final trailer, making this movie seem more predictable than it already was.
The man who proved raptors can follow orders. You never thought how many millions a trained predator might be worth?
Well, even if they didn't put it in the trailers, it wouldn't have fixed anything about this character because he's just a carbon copy of a villain that we've seen so many times before. Remember in the first movie when dinosaurs were threatening? Remember whenever a dinosaur was on screen, you were struck with the mixture of awe and fear? Well, all that's now gone. All of the dinosaurs are now either just tools of the plot, or they just appear on screen to sell toys. The T-Rex is now a puppet of the script that shows up whenever the main characters are in danger. It just comes on screen so that the fans watching could go, so apparently the evil billionaire man created this new dinosaur hybrid called the Indoraptor, which will be used in the military by pointing a laser from a gun, and then pressing a button that makes it go crazy, and then kill the guy you're pointing the laser at. Several problems with that. If you're pointing a laser at somebody with a gun to use the dinosaur on, why don't you just shoot the gun? You already have your gun pointing at the guy you plan on killing, so why wait for this thing to run up to the guy and attack him when you could just use the fucking gun? Also, this movie is telling me that cutting-edge genetic technology used to resurrect animals that have been dead for eons and has the ability to create its own Frankenstein monster hybrid dinosaurs can be brought to its knees using the logic of viral cat videos that you watch when you have nothing else to do on a Sunday afternoon. Blue is probably the most affected in this movie. In the first Jurassic World, Blue was trained but still an unpredictable and hostile animal who would definitely not hesitate to kill anybody. To the point where Chris Pratt needs to go these enormous lengths to make sure that she trusts him and doesn't flip out and kill him. Her unpredictability was shown in the scene she sided with the Indominus and almost killed the entire hunting squadron. Sure, she turned on the Indominus at the end of the movie, but that was because she began to trust Chris Pratt again, as shown when he removed her tracker from her head. Now, in this movie, she's just all like,
Alright, even though you made me fight a killer hybrid, let my brethren die, abandoned me for 3 years, let me get shot, helped me against my will, took me away from my home, performed a forcible blood transaction on me, and left me alone with a bunch of mercenaries who want nothing more than to sell and or kill me. I'm still going to defend you from this giant plot tool, because I'm a loyal hero here to save the day.
Also, did I mention that every single other dinosaur is a prop? Yeah, they just show up on screen so that the characters could just look at them and go, oh, oh, oh. Speaking of which. Every single character in this movie is a tool. Chris Pratt is too perfect, Claire is there, this man is annoying, this girl is forgettable, this girl is also annoying, and you already know what I think about this man, and Jeff Goldblum is there to just vomit exposition. Which is interesting because it's been about 20 years since he's been in a Jurassic Park movie, and they used him as a giant selling point for this movie.
Jeff Goldblum.
Jeff Goldblum.
Jeff Goldblum.
Jeff Goldblum.
Jeff Goldblum.
When in actuality, he doesn't do anything in the movie that's relevant to the plot. He's only in like 2 scenes in which he just gives out exposition and lines for the editors to just put in the trailers. Another common theme among these characters is the stupidity. The characters in this movie, especially the minor ones who get eaten, are probably one of the most brainless machines to ever walk on film. So like, take a look at this scene, for example. Buffalo Bill walks in and finds the caged Indoraptor. He then decides to shoot some tranquilizers at it and then walk into the fucking cage to get some of its teeth. Which is stupid considering that you are walking into the cage of the most dangerous and cunning predator on Earth. But surprise, the raptor's all like,
See, I pulled a sneaky on you.
and then attacks Buffalo Bill and eats him. Oh, but the stupidity isn't over yet. One of the guys from the auction is actually still alive, and then he runs to an elevator to find a bunch of people hiding from the Indoraptor. Side note, why didn't they just leave when they had the chance? The cage that was holding the dinosaur was locked for God knows how long, and if they've been there for that entire time, they would have had some considerable amount of time to escape from this dinosaur. It takes a few fucking seconds to make an elevator go down or up. So why didn't they just leave when they had the chance? And he gets into the elevator with them. He pushes this lady out of the way, and I'm not shitting you when I say this, but she fucking screams when she sees the Indoraptor, thus alerting him to their presence. And then he escapes and runs towards the people, but the elevator doors close before he gets there. But then out of sheer fucking luck, the raptor accidentally presses some buttons with its tail, making the elevator doors open, thus killing everybody inside. So imagine this stupidity like that, but for 2 goddamn hours. Every single character makes a stupid decision that either gets them killed or incapacitates them. The reason why it doesn't affect the main characters is because whatever stupid decision they decide to make results in dumb luck that's dictated by the script. Killer dinosaur right in front of you? T-Rex kills it and pretty much roars for no reason. Cornered in a room with a dangerous hybrid? Blue saves the day. The villain is about to escape? T-Rex kills him and roars for pretty much no reason again. You see what I mean? Dumb fucking luck. The entire finale to this movie is complete trash. Okay, so it goes like this. The Indoraptor escapes this enclosure and kills more people. Our heroes find the annoying little girl and try to escape with her, only to be cornered by Winston Dever. He goes on this fucking monologue about how the future cannot be stopped, and he reveals that this annoying girl is actually the daughter of John Hammond's former colleague's daughter, who died in a car accident years ago.
What? What the fuck?
Then the Indoraptor attacks them, causing our heroes to engage in an, albeit suspenseful, hiding sequence. The little girl runs away, and the hybrid chases after her. Then Chris Pratt joins them. The raptor corners the little girl in her room only to get shot. But uh-oh, the bullets don't work on it. Things seem to be all over, but then Blue comes in and starts to fight the raptor. Chris and the annoying girl escape out to the roof only to be cornered by the Indoraptor again. Just as things get bad, Claire pops out with a gun and shoots the glass beneath the hybrid, only for the hybrid to get back up on the roof. Then Blue pops out again, brings the Indoraptor down the roof, and then the Indoraptor gets impaled by a skull beneath it. Then our heroes find Screamy Boy and find out that a tank of poisonous gas is threatening to wipe out the remaining dinosaurs. They then decide to let them die, but then the annoying girl releases all of them. The villain dies, we get a second scene with Jeff Goldblum, and then the movie teases a sequel, the goddamn end. I have never seen a bigger clusterfuck of an ending like this in a movie before. A large majority of the ending is all just, all looks bad, then this happens. Things look bad, then this happens. Rinse and repeat. Did I mention that the Gaming Beaver predict that this would happen months before the movie came out? Then the movie just teases a future sequel with the dinosaurs on the mainland. I'm honestly sick and tired of movies doing this nowadays. When studios just make a terrible remake or sequel to a popular franchise, then tease a future sequel, the movie they currently made is horse manure. And the movies that came out this year were full of cop-out endings like that. Here's an idea. Why don't you make a good movie first with coherent stories, a good plot, fleshed out characters, and act like you give a damn? And if you do any of those things, then maybe we could talk about future sequels, you dumb fuck! This movie is stupid. And this is coming from a guy whose avatar is friggin' Venom. But the reason why I prefer Venom over this movie is that Venom is the good kind of stupid. Sure, it definitely is not a good movie, and there are certainly better movies out there, but Venom's flaws are what makes it charming to me. Also, the characters in Venom don't act like complete fucking idiots. If you enjoy Fallen Kingdom, that's fine. More power to you, that's fine. And I do admit that there are aspects of the movie that I like, but the good stuff does not distract from the awful dialogue, stupid characters, sloppy plot, terrible villain, and dumbass script. But amidst of all the ranting I've done, I do believe that this movie could have been fixed with some minor changes to the script that I'm about to propose. First thing, completely cut out the villain and the twist about selling dinosaurs on the black market. In this alternate cut of the movie I'm proposing, the billionaire man is not a villain. Instead, he's an ally that will help our heroes in their quest of saving the dinosaurs from the volcano. I honestly don't think that this movie really needed a villain in the first place, so aside from the volcano, there's no villain in this alternate cut. Second thing, make the movie about Chris Pratt and his search for Blue, who still doesn't trust him after abandoning her on the island for 3 years. There could still be some threatening scenes with the dinosaurs like that scene with the baryonyx, or you could toss in another chase scene with the T-Rex, or another different type of dinosaur that hadn't had the spotlight yet. I've even got a new ending for this alternate cut. After this wild goose chase, they find Blue and bring her back to the boat, along with numerous other dinosaurs that they're going to take off the island. They take them to Isla Sorna. In case you don't remember, Isla Sorna was the island that was featured in The Lost World and Jurassic Park 3. They get to Isla Sorna, and we could have this long shot of all of the people releasing the dinosaurs onto the island. But Blue stays behind a little bit. She has a heartfelt goodbye with Chris Pratt, and everybody lives happily ever after. Or at least until the next movie comes out. I rant about this movie because we hadn't had a good, real Jurassic Park movie since the first one. And I want to see this franchise succeed, and I want to capture that feeling of awe and wonder like I had watching the first movie, that I haven't actually felt for so long. This movie actually felt like a betrayal of everything I've ever loved about Jurassic Park in the first place. Jurassic Park had simple themes about man messing with nature, and going beyond the boundaries of what could be done in their field. Just like the filmmakers who were making this movie at the time, pushing the boundaries of what could be done in a summer blockbuster. The only boundaries that this movie is willing to push is the number of zeros they could add on their paychecks. But I believe under the right kinds of people, this franchise could improve. And rival the first movie, in fact. Remember when Mission Impossible was kind of terrible back in its early installments? Well, we're now 6 movies in, and it's fucking badass. So why can't we do the same thing for the Jurassic Park franchise? I mean, sure, it won't be perfect, but I do believe that sometime in the future we will get an installment that truly understands the heart and soul of the first movie. Making something that's not only thrilling, but awe-inspiring. Making characters that are not only relatable, but also timeless. Making something that is not only new, but is also Jurassic Park. And then we will know that life found a way.